Hi guys, welcome to yet another video on the metalwork on this 912. We get loads done in this video, so check it out. Okay, so straight in with repairing the front bulkhead. It looks like an absolute tea bag and it's got some pretty tricky repairs to do here. Unfortunately, panels aren't available, so we're going to have to make these sections. So here I've used a mallet and a sandbag to rough out the shape for this repair section, and then I'll use a hammer and anvil just to smooth out the shape. This section is for the smuggler's box hatch. There's a little bit of shape in it, but not too tricky to make. Another couple of small repair sections here. One's for the bulkhead and one is for the inner quarter panel strengthener. Well, that's 6 or 7 localised repairs to this bulkhead now. Pretty pleased with how it's come out, and considering I couldn't buy the panels, it didn't take too long. Just while I waited for the tunnel from Design 911, I decided to prep both doors and door skins to be welded together. When it comes to test fitting the doors again, I wanted to have the glass frames fitted just because I could see that before there had been some issues with the glass frame hitting the roof line. Okay, so I am ready to swap all of these tubes over onto the new tunnel. Unfortunately, the new tunnel doesn't come with the tubes for the handbrake cables and whatnot. We're also going to add 2 extra tubes to run the airline pipes through, just because I think it'll be a neater and easier job later. So we'll do that prep work now. And the other thing we've got to do is repair this tube and fit that into the new tunnel as well. Here I'm just stamping the body number into the new tunnel. Right, time to fit the tubes into the new tunnel. As mentioned, I'm going to fit 2 extra tubes as well as replace one of the tubes for the heater cables just because it's rusty. Next up was to repair the heater tube that sits in the tunnel. I didn't get any footage of actually repairing this, but here's a before and after. With that done, I can now test fit the tunnel, making sure that it's centralised by measuring from side to side. Then I can use my tech screws to screw it to the floor. Okay, so I've now got our tunnel test fitted. I've screwed it in place after just making sure it was central with the tape measure. Draw my line round it, so that will come back off. We'll prep all the areas for welding. And then I've made a template for this area here. It's going to be a little bit tricky, but I think it will come out all right. I've got blue arrows where I need to add a 15mm flange. I've got some red marks where I will need to stretch the flange just to shape it around the corner. And then a light grey mark where I'll need to shrink it to get it around there. So now I'm going to take the tunnel back out. Oh no, I'm not. I'm going to make this repair panel, test fit it, make sure I'm happy with it. Then I'm going to take the tunnel and the floor back out, weld in our longitudinal panels, not our longitudinal panels, our side members. And then do a few repairs around here that I've got to do, just because access will be good without the floor in. And then we can pop the floor in and weld it all together. Okay, so that is that repair panel screwed in now. I'm not going to weld it in yet, I'll weld it in when we sort the floor out. Unfortunately, my stretchers seen better days, so I've had to just nip those bits to get the shape. Shrinker did its job round here, but yeah, I'll tidy these bits up, well, weld them up and tidy them up when the time comes. So yeah, pretty pleased with how that's gone. Quite a lot of shape in that panel, pretty awkward to make, but yeah, it's come out well. Okay. Okay, so here I'm just seam welding in the longitudinal panels onto the front quarter panels, and then plug welding the lateral support panels onto the front quarter panels as well. The reason I'm doing this now is because I want to stiffen up all of the front end before we lift the body off of the chassis jig. Then we can prep the floor for welding. The final bit before we lift this body off of the chassis jig is to just spot weld these lateral panels in. Then I can start removing all of the chassis jig brackets from the body. Okay, so I've now prepped the tunnel and drilled lots of holes to plug weld this onto the floor. My spot welder wouldn't reach across to this, so this is why I have to plug weld it on. Fitted all the tubes, replaced one tube that was rotting, and I've just prepped, while you weren't looking, I've just prepped the airline tubes to go in the tunnel as well. I've bent them up and yeah, just given them a quick coat of black. So I'm going to weld them in now. Okay, so that's the floor pan prepped. Time to get the body off the chassis jig so I can mount the floor on there. Right, the last thing I need to do is spot weld 2 subframe mounting brackets into the floor pan, and then we're done. Okay, so I've now drilled the longitudinals so I can plug weld these onto the floor. Next up is to sort this out. We've got a bit of welding to grind down on the repairs that we've done from the top. I'm now going to repair this piece, which we've already made the panel for. And then I've got the corners to sort out as well. And then we can drop the shell onto the floor. That's the lower section repaired. Time to repair this grot just above it. Okay, so this is the bit I've cut out the bulkhead. This bracket holds the steering column that goes down to the steering rack. The bracket itself is, well, past its best. I'm going to repair this skin and see if I can get hold of a bracket, but I can't see them listed at the moment. So we'll keep hold of this because we might have to repair it. Okay, so I've had to make 2 little corner pieces and I've made them mirror images of each other, so hopefully they work. Well, we didn't quite get the body back on the floor, so that'll be in the next video now, but I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.